That's good.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Welcome to Johny Pach. Right, this is my main man. Author, motivational speaker, full-time yogi, Brett Moran, and lifelong friend.
How's it going, Johnny?
All good, mate. Guys, the context of this whole show today is to basically talk spiritualism, physiology, wellness, motivation, and we're going to be letting you know a little bit of an inkling about what we got coming up. A short trip down memory lane about the journey that got you here, and tell us about that light bulb moment with all of these lights shining.
Yeah, many light bulb moments. On a serious note, there's loads of light bulb moments, but I think it's whether you choose to pay attention to those light bulb moments, you know? So I am from here, from Surrey, just down the end of the Northern Line. I got up to mischief, followed the crowd, and then before you know it, I was taking drugs, selling drugs, but it was all a bit of a laugh, like partying, you just kind of experimenting, going to Ibiza, you know, dropping a couple of pills, having sex, it was great. Yeah. And then somebody introduced me to crack, and I had this kind of love-hate relationship with crack, and then, yeah, mate, it's obvious what happens. A couple of years later, I was hooked, got in thousands of pounds worth of debt, and then I got sentenced to prison. But prison, you said a light bulb moment, prison was the best thing that ever happened to me. I was in the prison library doing a little drug deal, waiting for some puff, and then I found this book called Moment by Moment on meditation. If you've never done meditation before, it's not like religious, it's not spiritual, it just helps you sort out your nut. And it helps you get out of all this kind of negativity and this anxieties and depression, whatever you want to label it. And so, mate, I was stuck in prison, I had nothing to do. I actually stole the book from the prison library because I thought everybody else would take the piss out of me because I'd gone like spiritual, religious. Went back to my cell, and you know what, Johnny, I just prayed and I meditated. I'm not religious, you know, I believe in something but I don't know what it is, and I just prayed and meditated for months and months, and then that was like 15 years ago, and I've just been following, it sounds so spiritual, but I've been following the path ever since.
So, you know, so meditation for me, I'm obviously sitting on my bed in my room and I'm completely zoning out and feeling the energy and getting little slight visions of like a purple light, and I'm filling myself up with love. Just to throw it out there. For you, yourself, in that prison cell, in a confined space, how different and weird is that to meditate in such a stressful, hostile environment?
All jokes aside, you know, I live on a beautiful beach right now, seriously, and it's so easy to meditate there, but meditation can be done anywhere. So as crazy as it sounds, I actually found my freedom in prison. Right. Because I've, in my next book, I write about the real prison is this. When I was in prison, I closed my eyes, I was doing the mindfulness, I was free. So I wasn't in that stressful environment. And then on a serious note, I've been in Thailand and I've been stressed out living on the beach. And even though I'm living in paradise, when that thing takes hostage,
I know
it's fucking game over. So what I'm trying to say is that you can be anywhere in the world right now, and if you start to set yourself free from this prison, it changes the whole game. We joke around about being in London and being in the city. I know you graft and work here, but if you just meditated every day, 5-10 minutes a day, it changes it.
For the viewers back home that haven't got into meditation just yet, have you got any simple meditation exercises that you could let them know about?
Yeah, you just get naked and then you really just focus on your breath, like inhale through your nose, exhale through your nose, and then just count your breath. So you do it for 8 minutes a day for 30 days, and it would change the pathways in your brain. It sounds simple, and people are like, oh, that ain't gonna change my life, but I was a crack addict, felt depressed, suicidal. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I've never felt higher in my life. This energy is natural.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's like where does it even come from? A lot of people back home they don't even know how to access that inner energy that we have. They're so caught up in their daily lives, stressing about money, stressing about the trains always delayed, and everybody's on the tubes with armpits in your face and sneezing away. But you had that light bulb moment in your prison cell. What happened from there?
So I wrote this letter to my mum. I was like, Mum, I've started meditating, I'm going to change my life. And mate, I was probably out for about a week, got bang on the coke, got bang on the drink, and then within about 6 months I went straight back to prison. You don't change like that. I was taking drugs for years, and you know, you get caught up in this environment, you become conditioned to whatever environment, whether it's a drug addict or you're living in the city, right? But it did ignite something, it started a new journey, and every time I fucked up, every time I went back, I was like, consciously, because of meditating, I was conscious that actually this isn't the path I want to be on no more. So you keep going back into that old relationship, you keep going back into that job, you keep waking up thinking I don't like it, and then one day you're like, I need to change it, because I've said this 1,000 times. So it didn't change for me overnight, mate, and then it took me probably like another 4 years to get off of the drugs, but that was like 15 years. It's been 11 years, no drink, no drugs. Those first 4 or 5 years, nobody sees that. They just see Brett on YouTube and I'm writing my books and I'm positive. But those first 4 or 5 years, it was like depression, anxiety, drinking, relapse after relapse. But that is the path. If you just plod it on, I don't think you're actually going to change. If you feel guilty and you think, oh shit, I've I fucked up again, that's a good sign because it's showing that you're consciously trying to change your life.
So why do we have that self-destruction feeling? We want to rebel, we want to be a loose cannon. Like, where does it come from? How can we deal with it?
But I don't know, do you feel like sometimes there's a fuck it switch in the back of your head?
Total fuck it switch.
Yeah, whether it's a drink, whether it's a bit of porn, whether it's like gambling or whatever
it creeps into you.
Yeah, it's a fuck it switch in the brain. I haven't got a clue why it's there, but you live in a society where it's constantly making us look outside ourselves for happiness, and it's constantly marking us that you're not good enough, you need to make more money, and all it's doing is creating a stronger identity. Your ego is getting bigger and bigger, and I don't mean ego I'm showing off because I've got a nice car. Ego can mean like you're not good enough and I'm depressed. It's got many different voices inside his head, and so I think the biggest addiction is the addiction to thinking. And if you can wean yourself off of your thoughts and you can come back to a place of essence, which is just peace and love, and that sounds soppy, you're like, shit, I don't need a bigger car. Actually, I'm gonna go and live on the beach, have a couple of street dogs, and I'll make my videos. I'm doing what I want. This is my life, because at the end of it, you're gonna get to the end of life and thinking, was it worth all that chase? My only way to answer that question is say, wean yourself off the ego. Your ego is just like a projection of who you think you are, who society tells you to be, but you're not the voice in your head.
I know a lot of friends that are grinding. It gets to Friday and they literally are not happy with their week, their routine's totally fucked up. They get to Friday, they want to go out and get fucked up. Yeah, that self-destruction mode comes in, but you're totally right in what you're saying. Back that up with regular meditation. You stay on that even kill mindset of like, life's great.
It just mellows you out, right? And then you think, oh, actually I don't need to do half the things I'm doing. You know, we live in a society now where like hustle, hustle, hustle. It's like, I get it, but I don't know if it's any good for yourself, like for your stress levels. I don't know.
You're a massive veganite. Wow.
What veganite?
Oh my god, that's so good.
Veganite, what's that mean then?
I don't know. It just means you're vegan. Everybody wants to be a veganite now. It's like, I want to be a veganite next year, but I do love my meat. But then when I eat a lot of meat, it really makes me drowsy, slow, and I don't want to feel like that anymore. So how do you feel about being a veganite? How has it made you physically feel and mentally as well?
Mate, if you'd have asked me 15 years ago when I was in prison, you're going to be a vegan, you're going to be doing yoga, and you're going to be living in Thailand without ladyboys, I'd be like, no way, you're mental, right? I never woke up and thought, I want to change my life and be this sort of dude to meditate and look cool. Now like being veganite is like this new trend. The reason why I did it is because I was so depressed and fucked up in my head. I moved away from my pain, my rock bottom. Tony Robbins says there's only two ways of changing. You move away from pain or you move towards pleasure. So yeah, I never woke up and thought I'm going to be a veganite. Naturally, I would just, as cliche as it sounds, I just remember eating some steak. I was like, this is making me feel sick. And then I watched a video on YouTube and I was just like, right, that was it. And a lot of people say you should become vegetarian and you need to cut down and you need to, I'm like, no, you make a decision and you stick to it. It's been 6 years as a vegan, and if I'm honest mate, my energy levels are up here and that voice inside my head seems a lot clearer. And I never forget, about 15 years ago, a friend said to me, when you eat an animal, you eat the fear and the emotions in that animal. And I thought he was just off his face, but now it makes sense. Food affects your mood. What you eat is common sense. What you put into this is going to come out. So if you're eating like meat and stuff, I honestly now believe that you're eating fear, you're eating the animal's depression, you're eating the animal's kind of suffering.
The fear of the animals.
And it comes in, that's emotionally, psychologically, it's like, shit, I'm just about to get killed, if animals think. They get killed, cut their throat, however they kill them, boom, you're consuming that. And I don't really get on YouTube and preach about being a vegan. It's like, if you want to feel good, then just look at what you're eating. Simple, mate.
You're a full-on yogi.
Yes.
How did you even get into that? Because you played football and stuff.
Yeah, I was a scaffolder, played football.
Gymming it.
I gym in every day, and then taking steroids, like steroids on the weekday, crack on the weekend. No wonder why I was mental.
Yeah.
And I had sciatica in my back, and then I went to the doctor. I was like in my 20s. I was teaching young kids how to like get their football certificates, and the doctor said to me, you need to have a hip replacement. And the doctor was younger than me, and in my mind there was just something that said, don't have a hip replacement. And then literally that weekend, my friend said to me, why don't you come to a yoga class?
Really?
And I remember what I said, right? I was like, do the gym and all that. Us guys, we're full of shit. We're full enough bravado. I was like, why would I go to yoga? It's full of women. And then when I said that, I was like, that's a fucking great idea.
Great.
Yeah, I said, yeah, I'll come, I'll see you Monday. and it was a typical woman at the front, like dreadlocks, tattoos, and she was like, oh, so now we're gonna connect to our, you know, spine. And I was like, what a load of crap. In the first 10 minutes, I was sweating. And then at the end of it, my sciatica, the pain in my back had disappeared. I quit my gym, quit my football, and I've been doing yoga every day, well, more or less every day since.
With a positive, books-wise, the Success Principles, Jack Canfield, absolutely love it. Yeah, I just feel like the opening passage is just take responsibility for your life. That is something that Not a lot of us do at all.
Nah.
We seem to blame others for this happening and that happening, and why is it all happening to me?
No, I think you're right, mate. Even though I feel like I'm ranting a little bit, you can blame the government, you can blame your parents, you can blame your family for your life not working out. Whenever you're doing that, you're disempowering yourself. If you go, okay, it's not working out, whatever it is, I want to change my life, you empower yourself, and then you make the decision. 100% responsibility is the only way out, because you can't change anything outside, you can only change everything in here. And when you take that, like Jack Canfield says, 100% responsibility. I'll tell you a funny story. I parked my motorbike literally I've got a nice sports bike in Thailand, it's the only thing I've got actually. So I leave my motorbike outside the shop, go in to get my matcha tea, and some poor Thai lady comes running in the shop crying her eyes out. And I'm like, oh, what's the matter? She goes, mister, I'm so sorry, I not see your motorbike. I don't know if that's how Thai people speak, but anyway, it sounds like an Irish bloke from Wales. She reversed her car into my motorbike. She didn't see my motorbike and knocked it over. So she's broke the clutch, she's broke the gear stick, and she's crying. And I'm like, it's okay, calm down, chill out. And it turns out she was getting married the next day, and she was like in such a huff and like trying to work out all this stuff. And I was like, and she's trying to give me all the details, and she's like, I said, don't worry, I should have parked it on the other side of the road. And that is what 100% responsibility.
Yeah, I get you.
Now I could have kicked off at her and said, you whatever, like the old Brett would have, right? Been so attached to a bit of metal, and then made that woman feel even worse than what she felt. But I thought, well, Brett, you should have parked it on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
Now that's a really small example, but I had to do that with my crack addiction. I had to do that with all my childhood issues. I had to do that with how I felt. You have to take 100% responsibility for everything in life. Even if somebody punches you in your face, you should have been on the other side of the road, you know? Even if
so true.
And I think if you can do it for little silly things like motorbikes and all the attachments, then you can empower yourself to do it for your whole life. But when you empower yourself, like Jack Canfield says, take 100% responsibility. It's like your life is going to be amazing. It's like,
wow.
It's amazing.
For something for myself, I don't dream big enough, and I don't dream big enough clearly enough, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, totally.
This is a true story, right? I did a big vision board, and I was just like, I've got to move to Hollywood, I want to move to Hollywood, that's it now. I don't care how I'm going to get there, I'm going to get there. I just went mad on it one day. Week later, House of Icons, you know, I used to host all the fashion shows and stuff. They called me up and said, we want you to host the LA show in February. Yeah. Headed out there, hosted the show, absolutely nailed it. It wasn't the best show, but what it did do was attract the eyes of a guy that owns V Channel and QVC over there. And he was like, Johnny, you know, we want you to be a presenter on the show. We want to sponsor you. 8 months later,
moved you out there.
Ended up moving out there, lived just off Beverly Hills, Mason apartment. It didn't go how I wanted, but this is just showing you the power of affirmation, vision boards. Yeah. We need to do more of it. Have you had any sort of mad goals like that, mate? Just come into reality?
Just too many, mate. I think the first goal I had, first vision I had was just to be clean, running around the park with my little daughter and being a good dad. That was my first goal.
Great.
And then, yeah, a couple of years later I was living that, and then I wanted to be in a movie. I was in a movie of Richard Branson, Jack Canfield, and Desmond Tutu. Then I wanted to get a motorbike. Somebody actually, and I'm not exaggerating, I borrowed his motorbike, went home, came back, and I was visualising, I was like, I'm going to get my own motorbike, it's going to be this. Went back, he gave me the keys to the exact motorbike I was riding. Obviously you've got to take action. If you didn't go to that award, you'd never have met the QVC guy. A lot of people think they can sit at home and go, I'm going to get a car, I'm going to get this.
You've got to take action, that's another thing in the book.
You're not going to get it, right? So yeah, and then I've got myself out of thousands of pounds worth of debt. And I know it sounds like woo-woo and spiritual, but it's common sense. The Buddha said, what you think, you become. Intention creates reality. So if I wake up and I'm not good enough and I'm stupid and I'm going to miss the train today and my boss doesn't like me, then you create that reality.
Thoughts become feelings, exactly.
Yeah, 100%. So my little thing that I'd always share with people in Law of Attraction is make sure it's coming from your heart, because sometimes you want to make more money, you want to be in Hollywood and you want to be this, but then you forget about there's other consequences, or the universe might have a different plan. So like, set your intention, have these big goals, but then don't attach to it. Just every day, just be mindful. Allow it to be. And see what happens, And I remember the first 5 or sort of 10 years, I've even attracted girlfriends, you know, I've attracted money.
I attracted my girlfriend.
Crazy, right? You know, and then sometimes it comes with a lot of consequences. Shit.
Hi guys, thanks very much for watching the Brett Moran interview. Please like, share, subscribe. Part 2 is coming up very soon. Peace out.